Hi, my name is Kimberlee Dallmann and I am from Monaco, Wisconsin. I am a senior now at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay where I live and will be graduating in May of 2021. Although I have a lot of interests and hobbies, I think a few that come to mind right off the bat is my love for cross-country running and just sports overall. I am a runner for the UW Green Bay women's cross-country team and I love the ability to be outside, to get workouts in, to start my day, and just the overall friendships and bonds that I've made through that sport. Along with that, I enjoy reading. I read a lot in my free time. I love when people suggest books to me. I love when I'm able to take time out of a busy day to just relax before bed and read a good book. And I also really enjoy cooking and creating recipes, learning new recipes, and I think it gives me a good opportunity to spend time with family and friends in the kitchen as well. One thing that I believe distinguishes me from other candidates is my upbringing. I grew up in a family of 9 kids, and we were all homeschooled growing up. I believe that this gave us a little extra free time to spend time doing other things that we enjoy. I got to help my mom garden. I got to help her with canning. I got to be outside, hanging out in the woods with my siblings, doing fun things. And then on top of that, I was very self-motivated to do my school. We watched video lectures. It was a little bit difficult because we weren't able to meet with teachers. We weren't able to ask a lot of outside questions besides what my mom may be able to answer. And so I think this really taught me to be very self-learning and self-motivated, and I believe that that really impacted my influence of how I was raised and how I grew up. Along with that, I think that I believe my family is a very hardworking family. So right off the bat, I was taught that a strong work ethic is very important. And so when I turned 14, I started working at a Whole Foods store. And then when I was 16, I started working in a kitchen, and it just gave me this drive to be very motivated for what I want in my future and to chase after those goals. And so I believe I'm a very strong, hardworking, self-motivated candidate that would make me distinguish and be set aside from other candidates. I want to be a Tulane dietetic intern because I believe it is important to change environments in order to learn new things about culture, community, and overall just the world. I've basically lived in Wisconsin my whole life, and I believe to grow as a person, it is important to explore new options, and I believe that New Orleans is filled with history and culture, and I think it would be an amazing place to flourish and grow in my knowledge. I believe my expectations out of this program is that you can provide an environment in which I not only am able to positively contribute and grow, but also to be able to give opinions and receive honest feedback on how I'm doing overall in the program. I guess I hope for an environment where I can openly ask questions and be able to better understand what we're doing or why we're doing it. And I expect you to hold me to high standards and correct me when I'm wrong or off path or whatever on projects or assignments that may be given my way. In return, I will always have an open mind. I will always try to be a team player. I will embrace constructive criticism and strive to improve myself whenever possible. I think I just hope to overall obtain from this experience is new knowledge and new understanding of community, of the world, of cultures, and just to increase my knowledge of nutrition and understanding of dietetics. I am a strong believer in healthy growth of our community, cultures, and nations as a whole. I want to be a dietitian because I believe that proper nutrition choices and education can be a cure to many medical complications and diseases that are experienced in our world today. I want to be a strong advocate for those who feel they don't have a voice or aren't being heard or are afraid to reach out for help. And I want to work together with the community to help them become more knowledgeable about their health. I want to build new programs to help the public better understand how to make healthier choices. I want to find affordable options to food and nutrition. I want to create more affordable access to nutrition counseling and to be able to help patients feel like they can come into a clinic or a hospital and ask for help. And I want to overall help lower the risk of disease related to nutrition in our world. In 5 years from now, I hope to be a registered dietitian and have the ability to work in a clinic or even a community setting and have the chance to create things like community gardens. I want to start new policies. I want to develop food plans that are affordable and yet healthy, and potentially even start something like a clinic that's easily accessible and affordable for people. I want to overall create a healthier community by focusing on preventative measures to lower the rate of nutrition related disease. So I have definitely felt uncomfortable in work situations, and I think everyone has experienced it. And for me, it's always just a situation where I felt like I couldn't speak up or give my input on a matter. And so I'm a very verbal person, I'm a very vocal communicator. So when those situations arise, I try to start on a very small level. I figure out what the source is, who the source is, what the issue is, and how to solve the issue. So, if it's a coworker, I start by speaking directly to them first about my concerns and how I'm feeling, and I try to work through the problem with them. If the situation is not resolved, I try to look up a little bit higher at the next in command. So there's only been one situation where I had an issue with a coworker. We were put in this really difficult situation, and I just felt uncomfortable. And so I sat down with them. I expressed how I felt. I said, this is upsetting me. This isn't working for me. Is there something we can do to fix this or change this? And how do you feel about this? And it just did not resolve itself. So from there, I went and spoke to a manager and I said, this is how I'm feeling. Like, I am expressing how I'm feeling, and this is what's going on, and how can we resolve the issue? And that ended up resolving it. The manager talked to me, he talked to the other coworker, and we worked through the issues all together. And I think overall, it's just really important to communicate appropriately what the situation is and express how we can fix it. If this happened to me during an internship rotation, I think I would approach it the same way. Like I said, I'm a very verbal communicator, so I would start by finding the source and start by speaking directly to them on my concern. I like to work through my concerns right off the bat. I like to get it over with, dealt with, and just forget about it afterwards. And so I typically will start by working through in my mind or write down what's upsetting me, why it's an issue, why do I feel uncomfortable, how can I fix it? And then from there, I take what I know and I communicate that to who I need to, so that hopefully we can all resolve it together by working together. When it comes to preparing for major exams, I definitely am a planner. So I take a lot of time into how I'm going to prepare for a major exam. I first start by finding all my resources that will help me through it. So this may mean study guides, this may mean looking at when the professor has office hours, looking through lecture packets. I locate all of it and put it somewhere that it's easily accessible and that I know what it is and where I can find it. I like to make sure that just everything is lined up and there before I begin my studying. So, along with that, I like to plan out times that I'm going to study for the exam that work around my schedule. I also like to try to take out distractions while I study. So, that may mean turning off my phone and letting people know that I'm going to be unavailable for a period of time. It means making sure I have snacks with me or eating a meal before or after I study, having coffee. I just try to work around my schedule and make sure that I block out specific times to focus on what I need to get done. And I kind of write out what's going to help me when. So it may mean going through the study packet first and going through all the answers and figuring out all the answers, and then making sure I know all of that, and then going through the lecture packets. And if I still have questions, I'll either shoot an email to a professor or I will try to meet with them for office hours. And so I think overall this helps me prepare and be the be ready for my exams when they come up. A situation where I felt I was treated unfairly and how I handled it. I think when I think of this question, I come back to a group project I had to do for one of my classes. There were three of us in the group project, and we kind of had outlined what each of us were going to do, how we were going to get it done, and had it all set. So I was working on my section, I had it all done, I was all ready to go. One of my partners had all their stuff done, they were ready to go, but we were missing a lot of material from our third partner. And this was kind of frustrating because it was like, well, we've done our share, now you need to do your share. And so me and the other partner, we talked about it and we reached out to the third partner and we said, hey, is everything okay? Do you need help? How can we assist you on your portion, and how can we help this get done? And that partner never responded. They never reached back out. I know that they did a little bit more work on their project, but overall it was kind of messy. So when the due date came, I submitted my stuff, my one partner submitted their stuff, and from what we know, our third partner submitted what they had. Well, we got our grades back that next week and we're docked a ton of points. And I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, we did our work, like, what's going on here? And it turned out that that third partner only submitted about half of their assigned stuff for our group project. And so to me, it was like, this isn't fair. I'm not being graded off of my work and my effort. I'm being graded off of this group project as a whole, and I felt like I reached out to this person. We tried to help. We tried to figure out what was going on, and just got no response. There was no effort put in on their part. And so I handled it by reaching out to my professor afterwards, and I said, hey, I sat down with her. I said, hey, this is the situation. Like, I am upset that I'm getting points off of an assignment just because one partner decided not to do anything, not to do half of their work, and so it was just really frustrating to me. And my professor listened to all I had to say. She said, like, this is kind of how it is. I am afraid I can't give you points back because overall this was a group project, and I'm sorry that it wasn't completed. And so I think for me, it was just overall like, well, this isn't fair. And so my takeaway from it was just that I did what I could. I put in the effort that I needed to, and I reached out to that person to try to help. And I think overall in the future, it would maybe just mean a matter of reaching out sooner or assisting them in their portion if they really need it, although that's not fair. It's the way it works, and that's just the reality about group projects. And so for me, it's just, how could I have helped this person better, and how can I improve for next time? So when it comes to whether I like working on things a lot at a time or just one thing at a time, I am definitely a multitasker. I like to take on as much as I can handle. I like to do it all. And so I've been known to do this through my college years. I've overbooked my time with school, cross country, with friends, with family. It's just been a lot with employment, and I I prefer it that way. I like to be busy because I feel that when I have a lot of things I know I have to do, I am much more motivated to get it done versus if I just have one thing that I need to focus on, I tend to procrastinate. So when it comes to my employment, if my boss gives me a few projects and is like, well, you don't have to take all of them, I typically will offer up as much as I know I can handle because I do like to have a lot of things to do at once, and I like that it gives me a variety of things. So whether it means getting my homework done and then doing my work project, it gives me a variety and it keeps me interested, but also keeps me very motivated to keep pushing forward, to keep getting the job done, and to keep working hard. So I think when it comes to difficulties working cooperatively with people, I often think of group projects in school. And there was one particular project where it was just me and one other partner, and we had a whole lot to do for our community nutrition class. So we had to come up with ideas for how we were going to present and what we were going to present to some of our Hmong elders in the community at our Salvation Army. And we had to pick a nutrition topic, and it was very difficult because we were both struggling with ideas. I had a lot of ideas going one way, and he had a lot of ideas going another way. And so we kept clashing heads. And so, like I said earlier, I am a very vocal and verbal communicator. So after we had kind of went back and forth over the phone, over texting about what we wanted to do and how we wanted to approach it, I said, hey, why don't we just meet up? Let's talk face to face. Let's work through our ideas and see how we can make something work. So we did end up meeting in person, and I kind of just gave him a list of my ideas, and he gave me a list of his ideas. And I said, okay, well, why don't we work on figuring out if there are two ideas we each have that we could collaborate together, so that it's a little bit of my idea, a little bit of your idea, and we can work together to get this project done. Well, we ended up, he had this whole minerals idea. I had vitamins, kind of go together, obviously. So we made a presentation about vitamins and minerals and about the health effects of it and benefits, and also what it looks like if you're deficient, and where we can get foods to fuel our bodies with these nutrients. And so it was a little bit of my ideas, a little bit of his ideas, and we paired it all together to make it work. But it was definitely just difficult in the beginning because we were clashing ideas, and we were doing all of this over text. So it was very hard to properly communicate what we were trying to say. And it was hard to just work together and figure out what we wanted to do overall. So I think reaching out and talking face to face was definitely the best approach. And I think when you're able to communicate appropriately and just in a nice manner, that it makes it so much easier to get the job done and to be considerate of other people's thoughts and ideas, and to respect what they want to do as well as them respecting what you want to do. And so I think that the result ended up very well. We got the job done. We were able to use both ideas, and it was just overall a great presentation that we ended up giving that day. Overall, I just want to thank you for reviewing me as an applicant for your dietetic internship program, and I want to thank you for taking the time to view this video, to read over my application, to look over everything that would potentially make me a good candidate for your program. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you for your time.